You have probably called a Stripe API or fired off a request to OpenAI without writing a single line of HTTP boilerplate. That is not magic. That is an SDK doing its job silently in the background. Today we are going to pull back the curtain on what a software development kit actually is, what lives inside one, how a call travels through it, and when you should reach for it versus going raw. By the end of this video, you will have a mental model that changes the way you read any third-party documentation. Every developer hits the same walls the first time they try to integrate a payment processor or a cloud storage service without any tooling. We are going to make sure you never hit those walls again. Here is the situation every developer hits: you need to charge a card. Without an SDK, you are writing raw HTTP. You are manually building headers, serializing form data, handling status codes, reiterating on 500s, and parsing whatever JSON comes back. That is 13 lines before you have written a single line of your actual product. With the Stripe SDK, it is 3 lines. You import Stripe, set your key, and call charge.create. The SDK is not hiding complexity from you out of laziness. It is encapsulating complexity that every single caller needs so that nobody has to reinvent it. That is the entire premise. Same result, a fraction of the surface area. So what is actually inside an SDK? Think of it as 5 stacked layers. The outermost layer is the API client itself. Pre-built HTTP wrappers that know the base URL, the authentication scheme, the retry policy, and the rate limit backoff strategy. Below that are data models, typed objects for every request and response so you never manually parse JSON again. Then comes error handling, not generic HTTP exceptions but typed domain errors. Stripe card error tells you something specific. A 402 tells you almost nothing useful. Below that are utilities. Token signing, pagination cursors, webhook signature verification. And at the bottom, shipped right alongside the code, are documentation and type hints that power your IDE autocomplete. Every layer exists because someone got burned writing it from scratch. When your code calls the SDK, here is what actually happens across 5 stages. Stage 1 is your code. You pass a type parameters object to stripe.charge.create. Stage 2 is the SDK layer. It serializes your object, signs the request with HMAC, and applies your API key. Stage 3 is the HTTP client. It opens a TLS 1.3 connection and posts a /v1/charges. Stage 4 is the API server, which handles your request on the other side and returns JSON. Stage 5, the SDK deserializes that response back into a typed charge object with a real ID and a real timestamp. The SDK owns stages 2 and 3 entirely. You never see them. That invisibility is the value. Versioning is where most SDK pain comes from, and it is almost always avoidable if you understand SemVer. The version number has 3 parts: major, minor, and patch. A patch bump means bug fixes only safe to update anytime. A minor bump means new backward compatible features still safe. A major bump means breaking changes and old code may fail. When a new SDK version drops, the question is simple. Is it a major version? Read the changelog carefully and test thoroughly in staging before you ship. Is it minor or patch? Update at your convenience. The rule that saves you the most pain is to always pin your SDK version in your dependency file and upgrade deliberately, never automatically on every build. One API, many official SDKs. Almost every major platform ships first-class support for the languages developers actually use. Stripe has Python, JavaScript, Go, Java, Ruby, and PHP. Oz has Boto 3 for Python, the JavaScript SDK, the Go SDK, and a dozen more. OpenAI ships Python and JavaScript packages on day 1 of every new feature. The pattern is consistent. You install one package, you get typed objects, you get IDE support, and you get a community of developers who have already hit every edge case you are about to encounter. The SDK is the fastest path from reading the API documentation to having working code running in your language of choice. SDKs have real benefits and real drawbacks, and you should understand both before you reach for one. On the benefit side, you ship faster because there is zero boilerplate. You get fewer bugs because error handling and retry logic are already battle-tested. Your IDE gives you full autocomplete and type hints, and the SDK is versioned and updated alongside the API, so breaking changes are signaled explicitly rather than discovered in production. On the drawback side, it is a dependency you have to maintain. The SDK can lag behind new API features by weeks or months. The abstraction hides what is actually happening on the wire, which matters when you are debugging a timeout. And not every language gets official support from the vendor. Some of the SDKs you are almost certainly already using in your projects right now: Stripe for payments and billing, Boto 3 for every AWS service from S3 to Lambda to DynamoDB, Twilio for SMS, voice, and video messaging, the OpenAI Python package for completions and embeddings, Firebase admin for authentication and Firestore, SendGrid for transactional email delivery. Every one of these follows the same pattern. Install one package, initialize a client with your credentials, call methods that return typed objects, and handle typed exceptions when something goes wrong. The SDK is the standard interface between your application code and the external world. So the decision is actually straightforward. Does an official SDK exist for your language? If yes, use it. Install it, pin the version in your dependency file, and move on. If no SDK exists, build a thin wrapper class around raw REST calls or call the API directly and keep it simple. Do not over-engineer it. The SDK exists to remove accidental complexity. Authentication, serialization, retries, typed errors, pagination, all of that is already solved for you. Your job is to use that solution and spend your engineering time on the problems that are genuinely unique to your product. That is what an SDK is, and that is what it is for. Thanks for watching.